Hello everybody. In today's video we will be working on a Pentax K-1000 camera. It's a nice camera. Looks like it may have been already partly overhauled, or perhaps just the leatherette has been changed, but there's a couple of issues that the customer is complaining about, which are both valid. So problem number one is that the camera is locked up. If I attempt to wind the lever gently, I notice that it is already wound, but there is no release. Okay, and problem number two, it looks like somebody had already replaced or attempted to replace mirror cushion and perhaps light seal. You'll notice that the film door doesn't open freely. There's almost a little bit of stickiness to it, and it's something's holding it back. And I'm noticing that someone did install a new seal, and looks like that seal may have been reverted a little bit, so the sticky gooey is all over the place, and that prevents the door from springing back a little better. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into both problems. What we'll do, we'll take care of both issues and do our standard overhaul on it. And we're gonna start with the seals. Then we're gonna move into figuring out what's going on with the advance or shutter lockup. So it looks like the advance was wound, which is a good sign, but the shutter didn't respond. So let's go ahead and take care of these seals, and then we'll investigate the second problem. Scrape some of this old seals and sticky substance from the film door. As we're doing it, it obviously removes some of the old paint, so we're gonna have to touch it up a little bit after the camera is completely cleaned. Much better now. You can see that it springs back much freer and with much more force, the way it's supposed to be. Okay, and since we're here on the subject of light seals, we're gonna take out this replacement seal that is a little bit too short. It has been replaced, it looks like. We'll put a new one. All right. Okay, so let's put all that away for a second and figure out the issue here with our shutter or advance. Let's go ahead and open up the bottom cover. Okay, well, it looks like the shutter is wound, but this lever here slipped the stopper. So this is a winding stopper, and in a wound position, which this mechanism is in a wound position, this mirror lever is supposed to be sitting on top of this stopper, and it is not. So this could be our issue. So let's go ahead and try to force it into its spot. Let's see here. There's a little bit of force. Okay, now this is the way it's supposed to be. Now you see, I think I know what's going on here. You see how I wound the mirror lever, and it sits right on the tip of this stopper. Now let me just go ahead and try to release it. You see what happened? It did release as long as it's in this position. But I think the problem is that the stopper, due to its age, changed the angle a little bit. And we'll just have to, push it a little bit inwards. But let's see. Yeah, it sits too close to the angle, has the ability to slip. Okay, periodically. And I've seen that before. All we have to do now, let's see here, make sure it goes all the way. Yes, it does. We'll change the angle of this lever and change the angle of this lever. Obviously, I don't want to leave it like that because it may cause the problem in the future. So let's go ahead and set that one up. And set that one up. Okay, so let's release it. So now let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and wind the film lever. It goes far enough and it's right dead in the center. Okay, so there's really no room for slippage now. Even if it goes too fast or slips or whatever, it will not position itself where the mirror is preventing the winding mechanism from releasing the shutter. So I think we're good here. Go ahead and adjust. I think in one of my previous videos, I've also covered replacement of this stopper lever before, where it was completely bent. Okay, so this looks okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do the necessary lubrications here. Then I'll check the shutter speed, and if need be, I'll go ahead and adjust it. Then we'll open up the top and the front to do our standard lubrication and overhaul. Okay, now let's go ahead and check the shutter speeds and run time. All right, it was slightly out of tune, so now they are on target. So one other thing I'm gonna double check before I go into the top cover. See a little bit of a residue, the battery leakage here. So I'm gonna check the condition of the wire, power wire, to make sure there is no corrosion or crystallization on the contact. Yep, it looks nice and clean. I'll go ahead and put a fresh solder joint on it. All right, so now we have a fresh solder. I'll go ahead and put it back and then clean out this chamber a little bit. Okay. Alright, also I've noticed the light meter is a little bit out of tune, so that's why I put the battery back in. Once I open the top cover, I will calibrate the meter as well. So we've got 3 screws here, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, and this cover should come off. There's still some dust in the finder, so I'll have to see if it, yeah, I have to remove the prism as well. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and calibrate the light meter so I can remove the battery and continue on. It looks like light meter was about 2 stops off, which is fairly common. I mean, it's not always the same accuracy on all the K series cameras, but it's about the same. Sometimes they're dead on center, especially the newer ones. The older ones need a little more calibration. All right, so let's remove the battery. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open up this prism to clean some particles out of it. There's a couple more specks. Looks perfect now. Let's secure this prism. Okay, and let's work on this front panel. See if we can carefully remove this custom leatherette. Okay, the lever seems to be a little bit loose. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. I'll go ahead and clean the viewfinder and then the mirror. All right, everything looks good here. I think we are done with this camera. Thank you for watching.